All right, let's talk about something so many of us have gone through. That incredible frustration when you work so hard to lose weight, and then it just comes right back. It's that classic yo-yo effect, right? But what if I told you the reason it's so tough isn't about willpower at all? What if it's all about the secret life of your fat cells? We're going to dive deep into the biology behind this whole struggle, and I think what we find is going to surprise you.
So let me kick things off with a question for you. You do everything right, you lose 10 pounds of fat. What actually happens to those fat cells? Where do they go? Do they just, burn up and vanish into thin air?
The answer is kind of shocking. They go nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. They're still right there. This is the crucial point that changes everything. The cells that stored all that fat didn't disappear. They just shrunk.
So why on earth don't these cells just go away? Well, the answer actually starts way back when you were a kid. It turns out your body created a kind of permanent blueprint for fat cells, and that number gets locked in really early.
You see, through our childhood and teen years, our bodies are busy producing a specific number of fat cells. The scientific name is adipocytes. And once that production run is over, that's pretty much your number for life. It creates a baseline that your body is going to want to maintain, well, forever.
And listen, this isn't just some theory. It's been proven. There was this landmark study in the journal Nature that figured it out in a pretty wild way. They actually used residual radioactive carbon from old Cold War nuclear tests that got into the food supply to date human cells. And what they found was mind-blowing. Even after someone loses a ton of weight, their total number of fat cells stays the same.
Okay, so if the number of cells is basically fixed, how in the world do we gain weight as adults? Well, it all comes down to two very different processes: hypertrophy and hyperplasia. It's the difference between your cells getting bigger versus your body actually making more of them.
So first up, let's talk about hyperplasia. This means an increase in the actual number of fat cells. Think of it like a new neighborhood being built. You're adding more houses. This is pretty much only happening when you're young, and it's how your body lays down that permanent blueprint we were just talking about. And then you've got hypertrophy. This is where it gets real for most adults. Hypertrophy isn't about getting more cells. It's about the cells you already have getting bigger. Seriously, think of your fat cells as these tiny little balloons. When you gain weight as an adult, you're not adding more balloons to the party. Nope, you're just inflating the ones that are already there, pumping them full of fat or lipids. They just swell up.
So, to put it simply, hyperplasia is adding more cells, and that happens mostly when we're young to set our lifetime count. Hypertrophy is those existing cells getting bigger, and that's how we gain weight as adults. Getting this difference is honestly the key to understanding why keeping weight off is such a battle.
And this right here, this brings us to the very heart of the problem. Because when you try to shrink those fat cells back down, your body starts to fight you. And it fights hard. It's a powerful defense mechanism, and it's all part of something called the set point theory.
Remember our balloon analogy? When you lose weight, you're not popping the balloons, you're just letting the air out. But that empty, deflated balloon, that shrunken fat cell, is still there. And let me tell you, it is not happy about being empty.
This is what we call the biological rebound effect. First, dieting empties the fat out of your cells. But those little shrunken cells, they're still very much active. They sense they're underfilled and they start blasting your brain with powerful hunger signals. At the exact same time, your body slams on the brakes of your metabolism to save energy. It creates the perfect storm for regaining all the weight you just lost.
What's happening here is that your body sees these empty fat cells as a 5-alarm fire. It's a biological debt, and your body is programmed to repay it by getting you to eat more and burn less. It desperately wants to refill those cells to get back to its comfortable set point. This isn't a flaw in your character, it's a feature of your survival software.
So, just how stubborn is this programming? I want to show you two numbers that really paint a clear picture. The first one is 10%.
So, what's that 10%? That's the percentage of your fat cells that your body replaces every single year. So there's a constant turnover. But here's the kicker. For every old cell that dies, a new one is born to take its place. Your body works tirelessly to keep that total number locked in, no matter what your weight is.
And that leads us to the second, and maybe even more important, number: 10. Okay, get this. That number is the average lifespan in years of one of your fat cells. 10 years. So those little shrunken, deflated cells that are screaming at your brain to eat more, yeah, they aren't going anywhere fast. They're going to hang around for a decade, just patiently waiting for you to refill them.
It's not a temporary feeling, it's a long-term biological reality. But hold on, the story doesn't quite end there. The latest science is giving us an even more detailed look at what's going on inside our fat tissue after weight loss. And, well, it's a mixed bag. There's some good news, but there are also some new challenges to think about.
So, on the good side, losing weight is like a spring cleaning for your cells. It helps clear out old, damaged ones and really boosts the healthy recycling of fats. But here's the challenge. When a person is obese, their fat tissue can get filled with inflammatory immune cells, and even after the weight is lost, some of these angry immune cells can stick around, holding on to a memory of that inflammation. Scientists are calling them immune scars, and they might actually make it easier to regain weight down the road. So after hearing all this, you might be feeling a little discouraged, but I want you to see it another way. Just knowing this stuff is incredibly powerful. It helps us move the whole conversation away from personal blame and squarely into the realm of biology.
Look, this isn't a story about failure. Not at all. It's a story about understanding. It's about knowing your body is hardwired to fight back against weight loss. And once you truly get that, you can stop blaming willpower and start focusing on what really matters, creating smart, sustainable strategies that work with your biology, not against it.
Which, of course, leaves us with the big question. If we're basically stuck with the fat cells we have, then the game isn't about getting rid of them. The game is about managing them. So, how do we learn to work with our own bodies to keep those cells small, quiet, and healthy for good? Answering that is really the next great challenge for all of us.